Welcome, and if you don't already know, it's macOS Big Sur Day. We're talking about all the new stuff that's going on in 11.0.1. I just want to get my opinions out there about this OS, and it has just been phenomenal. Actually in this past week, I've had a lot of Siri issues, so Siri still needs to be worked on, but everything else is fine. For a period of time, I did have an AirDrop bug where nothing would AirDrop, but if I would plug the phone in and take the photos and pictures off that way, it would work just fine. So that was just a workaround. It didn't really matter a whole lot, even though I love using AirDrop. AirPod for one of the betas would not connect, but that was fixed really fast in a matter of a week with an update. Apple was very good with their feedback page, and they were really nice about it. A couple of emails that said, hey, this has been fixed. We know you suggested this. Thank you for suggesting this, and go update your computer because it's been fixed. And I was like, wow, that is really nice. And the only other software beta I was on was macOS Mojave beta. Was just such a mess, but it ended up turning out to be one of Apple's greatest softwares. I had no issues with macOS Mojave whatsoever. So going from Mojave to Big Sur, I was just like, oh, this is what macOS is like when Apple doesn't optimize it or still in its optimizing phase. One of the biggest problems I've had with Big Sur so far is the fact that everything is very, very choppy and things can get lost. I've had a few files disappear on me and go into the recovery, been in the trash can whenever I update, and there's just been a lot of little things that have kind of added up. Like if you go into this and you start moving it around, sometimes it can get caught if you try to go to a different desktop, like how it's not as fluid. It's just those little things that have been stacking up that have made this kind of like an awkward experience. But other than that, it's been absolutely great. Oh, and probably one of the most hilarious issues was for a period of time when you were watching YouTube videos, it wouldn't mute. So when you're kind of in Zoom and you're on like your mic to talk to people, and all of a sudden the video starts playing, it can get really, really awkward because your computer's like, I'm on mute, but like the sound's still coming out. I don't know how that's even possible because like you physically say I want you to mute yourself, but if you just stick a headphone doot in there and turn the volume down to 0, you're shaking and baking. Compatibility with this when connecting older devices, I'm talking iOS 7, 8, 9, iPhone 5S, AirDrop, worked perfectly. Apple's done a great job of optimizing macOS Big Sur for their older devices. Plug in an iPhone 4S, it knows what it is. Plug in an iPod, it doesn't know what it is. It's been all over the place. I plug in my 4th gen Dave over there to see if he syncs up, doesn't. Then I plug it into my MacBook Air, it syncs up just fine. Plug a iPod Nano into here, it syncs up just fine, but when you plug an iPod Classic or an iPod Touch into here, it doesn't know what the heck it is. It is all over the place, and I'm sure device compatibility will be updated in the future, but the removal from iTunes really is the most disappointing point about macOS Big Sur. Using the Apple Music app without iTunes isn't bad, I feel like it's just missing something, and for someone who uses iTunes all the time for like iPods and restores, it was really nice on macOS Mojave to just plug it into either this or the MacBook Air, where now I just have to use the MacBook Air because that has the most compatibility, where this thing doesn't, because it doesn't even know that some devices exist. So I don't know what that's about, but I'm switching between OS platforms. So if we go into the boot camp, when you're using boot camp with this, everything works fine. I had no issues with restarts or device crashes when it was in Windows, so everything was working perfectly with there when switching between OSs for gaming. Security is awesome. I've had no issues, and there hasn't been any like serious security breaches with Big Sur like we had on High Sierra, because if you remember on High Sierra, any password you could press in boot and it would just unlock everything for anyone that wanted to hack into it. So the benchmark when I'm using this is my 2019 MacBook Pro 15-inch, and thermals have been good. I've had no issues on any of the betas with thermals. macOS Big Sur is plenty powerful. It gets the job done. My i9, it stays cool, although I do have to help it out with some macOS fan controls. And right now we're sitting at 24 on the battery and the CPU core is at 30, just showing the screen. That's really nice. That is some of the best temps we've gotten so far in a while. On macOS Mojave, I did notice that it ran a little hotter, so I think macOS Big Sur is more optimized for temps, and Apple was very careful about that, considering the fact that they have a 2016, 2017, 2018 MacBook Pros that thermal throttle. This one, I have noticed no thermal throttle issues throughout my entirety of owning this device. The only time it thermal throttled when I was playing Subnautica and then switched to watch a YouTube video. For playing one game at a time, because whenever I game, I usually don't have other things open in the background that are RAM intensive, but Google in the background is just RAM intensive anyway. Minecraft did a lot on this beta. Very nice. 60 frames a second all the time. No crashes, no stutters, no tearing, really at all. I love everything. The preview handoff feature that when you take a picture with your iPhone, you can import it into Pages. Oh my God, that is so nice. Preview, the new PDF reader is great. I have uninstalled Adobe Acrobat on this thing because I just don't need it anymore. Oh my god, and I'm never gonna downgrade. This has just been the best, even though I love Mojave and it's been my favorite macOS release since really Yosemite. Like Sierra was awesome because we got Siri, but Mojave was just like, oh, everything was coming together, and this thing just wraps it all up into a nice, neat little bow of absolute perfection. Because I don't really know what else they can add. As you can see on my dock, I don't really use the split feature. I don't really use stacks at all. If I go to the screen, you see how everything's in its nice little folders. I use a lot of the main features that came out in Mojave with my computer. So I'm probably never gonna use them because I use my Mac a certain way and a lot of people use their Macs a certain way. And this is just the way I like using my Mac. It's completely customized top down and everything works great. Going back to this right here, the Apple Beta Software Program, these pages have been updated. On Wikipedia, if you go there, it says Developer Beta 0.1.1. Right there, that's what we're on right now. As you know, they skipped the Gold Master Edition. So when are we gonna expect Big Sur? So right now, if you go on the Google, it doesn't really have a date at all yet about when we should expect Big Sur, but I'm thinking it's either gonna come out in the next 2 weeks because Apple can definitely refine some of the issues that they're having. We're gonna update this computer and then we're gonna see what type of changes we can find in macOS Big Sur 11.0.1, the skip of the Gold Master because the Gold Master wasn't ready. So we're gonna get on that now. If you're just watching this video, remember to save 6% on the Apple Card this holiday season, and I'll see you in the next one.